Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to another episode of Your Life with Yolanda, where you will be empowered, you will be encouraged, and you will be educated. And I'm thankful that you are viewing this today, and you are not going to want to miss this episode. This is episode number 3. And I promise you, I believe you're going to be encouraged. You're going to be uplifted today because I have a very special guest with me today. Today, actually, I have none other than one of the most amazing people that I've ever met. She's one of my most favorite persons on the planet Earth. And I'm so thankful that I get to share her with you all today. She is my dear friend, Dana Frazier. She's my sister, and welcome to Your Life with Yolanda, Dana.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you, and I'm just looking forward to what God is going to allow us to talk about today. And I'm just excited to be with you as always. So I'm here.
Yes, I am so excited. So, Dana, I haven't given everybody the topic of what we're going to talk about just yet because I believe it's going to be very relevant to where we are today. But before we do that, I want you to just tell everybody a little bit about yourself professionally and
Okay,
also just the calling that you have. And then I'm going to share with them the topic that we're going to be discussing on today.
certainly. So I'm Dana, and I am a licensed professional counselor here in the Hinesville area. My business is called Reaching Beyond, and my focus is oftentimes on women, but I focus on couples too. And I just love doing the work of the Lord. For the scripture says that there is safety in the multitude of counselors. So I love what I
Mm.
do. Not only that, my husband and I share in ministry here, New Dimensions Christian Fellowship, where I serve him in whatever capacity is needed. And I just love Jesus. I love God's people.
Yes, awesome, awesome. So this is going to be phenomenal today because you have a multiplicity of gifts. You have the
Mhm.
spiritual side, of course, and then you have the practical professional side, which I believe is going to be very empowering and encouraging for those who are going to be watching this today. The
Mhm.
the the topic of our discussion today is actually I wanted it to be relevant because we're in the holiday season and we're approaching Christmas, we're approaching New Year's. It's been an amazing, interesting year. So I wanted us to talk about the holiday blues and how
Yeah.
it affects people and is it a real thing? And I wanted to really get your take on that because I believe this time of year, many people struggle with the holidays for various reasons, of course,
Mhm.
including just maybe negative reminders of maybe a bad experience or feeling lonely, missing
Mhm.
a loved one, feeling left out, so forth and so on. And some people just, quite frankly, they just don't like this time of year for for whatever reason it is, right?
Right.
So I
Right.
wanted to get your take and ask you, is there really such a thing as the holiday blues?
Well, actually, it is. It is. It's a seasonal kind of thing where you have depressive symptoms, and sometimes that can show up in anxiety, depression, and other feelings that's not desired. Let me say it that way.
Hmm.
So yes, the holiday blues is definitely a phenomenon.
Wow, very, very interesting. And I know many people I've seen things, you see things on television or other
Hmm.
places where even with the seasons changing and when it starts to get darker,
Yep. Hmm.
and there's not a lot of sunlight out, that sometimes even that can kind of cause like a lull, or a change in people's attitudes or their feelings and that sort of thing. And then with,
Hmm.
again, the holidays coming around. Many people are just kind of sad at this time, not to mention the fact that the big P word that we're all saying, pandemic,
Yes.
coupled with the pandemic and the other stuff that we've been dealing with all year long.
Yes.
Um, how do we know if maybe someone has crossed over from just feeling a little bit low?
Yes.
It's just the holiday blues into something maybe deeper.
I'm so glad you asked that question. That's a very, very important question. Just as I said earlier, the holiday blues is more seasonal. But if you
Okay.
start seeing this person going on and on, it's really the timing, the duration of it is what you start looking at. How long
Okay.
it lasts. And
Okay.
that's a clear sign that they may have slipped into actual depression, um, or some form of depression. So it's the
Wow.
time, it's the timing for the most part. And also, it can be some events that occur that they're doing that's a little bit way outlandish that really give attention. I mean, it gives your eye to it. So you're like, wait, something's going on. And more than likely, there is something going on. If you have the timing and other descriptive behavior that's not suggestive of someone that's well, I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure this is shifting to something else.
Wow.
Yes.
So how do we, and those are I guess telltale signs of something deeper. But
Yeah.
sometimes when you're kind of close to someone or you're used to seeing someone every day, it may be
Yeah.
a little bit more difficult to recognize, or either maybe we kind of just put it off as it's no big deal or something else. So,
Mhm.
for someone that's like a family member or a friend that you normally would see, how do we not sort of push that off or distinguish between the two, for just a layperson like myself?
Um, I think the first thing is just being very candid and asking. For some reason, we get very shy and we don't want to ask that because of all the stigma that's associated with it. But I think the more that we talk about it and normalize it,
Hmm.
people be more open to talk to you. And if you're that close to the person, I would think that you would have the ability to just ask, "Are you well?
Wow.
Are you well today? How's your soul today?"
Mm.
Because we kind of got in the monotony of I'm good. We've always been trained to say I'm good, everything's okay. You can almost I remember one time doing a study with asking someone a question, and
Hmm.
before you can even ask them, they're already answering. Or doing the opposite. I'm about to tell you something, but you move on to something else because we're
Whoa.
training ourselves not to hear. We don't really want to hear. But
That
if you
is
give
good.
mhm, if you give yourself that space in that person's life that you love, just to ask, I don't want to be in nobody's business, and we say all kind of things, but
Hmm.
um, I believe by covenant, if certain things going on with you, that I should have every right to make sure you're okay. And if
Wow.
not,
That,
you may want. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If not, you may want to check that relationship because that may not be what you think it is. But if it is a bona fide relationship, that is definitely a space that someone should have in your life without offense.
That's so good, because a lot of times I think, Dana, we just don't want to stir the pot. We don't want to, I don't know, I guess we don't want to offend, we don't want to stir the pot, we don't want to make trouble, we don't
Mm-hmm.
want to make things seem as bad as maybe they are or appear to be. So
Mm-hmm.
I think for a lot of times, even innately, we just don't say anything. And although we may love the person or whatever, but we don't ask the
Mm-hmm.
question, how are you well? Are you okay? And then, even from the flip side, the person that may respond, they may say, "Oh, I'm fine," or "I'm okay," but then they're really not.
Yeah.
So I think those are good points.
But you'll be surprised how many people was waiting for you to stick around even after they said I'm okay. To make
Wow.
sure that you really care enough about me to even risk me getting upset.
Mm.
Sometimes we have to upset each other in order for us to get to the next space and place that we need to be. And not only with depressive symptoms, with other things in our life. We
Yeah.
just need to be able to be that sense of support for a person. And many people
Wow.
have dealt with being rejected and all, and in their mind, you don't care anyways. And that was a clear sign because I clearly just showed you what's going on with me. And then just because I said I was okay, you were good. You didn't
Wow.
check back up and say, I really was looking at you and something was different and I was concerned about you. I just want you to know I'm here for you. It's simple. They're not asking you to be their therapist. They're not
Mm.
asking you to do, they may ask you to pray with them,
Hmm.
and to be there for them as a support. And that's what people need. They need people to keep showing up for them. And within
Wow.
your own reason, but enough to say, I'm real busy, but let me make this quick phone call. What's up, Yolanda? Something,
Yeah.
check in on you. I had a few minutes. Or I saw you, you look different. Or I saw when something was done, and are you really okay? Or was that just something that happened to be a innocent little expression? I'm
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Wow. That's good. So do you think then we should probe deeper sometimes? Even say for instance, if we do check up on someone, they're just a little bit down, or we know during the holidays that, maybe they've lost a loved one at this time or whatever.
Hmm.
And, we do the things, we do the checking up, or we notice their affect is a little bit different. And we just kind of say, okay, let me just see, how do we should we just continue to keep probing? When do we know when to kind of back off, or when do we know when to go forward?
I think no, you shouldn't keep probing because it would be out of your sphere
Okay.
of ability.
Okay.
But you can show care and concern,
Okay.
and you can say, "Okay, I just want to be sure. I'm just checking on
Mm,
you because this is what I saw."
wow.
If they sit and refute you, just calmly say, "Well, I'm here." On top of that, you may want to offer them a therapist, or you may want to offer them to talk with leadership in the church or something like that, just to see if
Hmm.
they can get some more, and ask them, "Is it okay for me to do that?" And what people don't understand is, and this is one of my pet peeves, even in the loss of a loved one, we're asked, "Do you need me to do anything?" If you know that person, you know their routine kind of. Well, I'm going to pick up your kid for you today. I'm going to take them here. I'm going to go get grocery for you. I'm going to cook dinner for
Yeah.
you. You don't wait for them to ask because they may not want to ask you. They don't want to put a
Yeah.
burden on you,
Hmm.
because we like to
Hmm.
feel like we're super women and super men. But you start putting things in place to show them that I care. And if you can't bring it
Wow.
over because of the pandemic, send grocery over there. Something
Hmm.
they like, send it over there. Buy a meal, send it over there through, have someone deliver it to them. Get those kids to the soccer games because they can't hardly
Hmm.
get, parents can hardly get themselves up. Do something.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. I know you're going through something, and I just want to be here for you. Allow
Wow.
me to do that. Allow me to come take the children to the daycare for you today and pick
That
them up.
is good. That is such a great point, because you're right. Because most of the times, and I know even for me, if someone says,
Hmm.
"Man, is there anything I can do?" I'm gonna automatically say, "No, I'm good." You know,
Yes, yes.
because we don't want to. I guess we don't want to bother anybody. Maybe it's our pride. I don't know what it is, but
Hmm.
just taking the steps to do something that we know that would be of assistance or help, or even if we miss it, at least we've tried to open that door to do
Exactly.
something, and not just say it, but to actually do something. So that's really, really, really powerful. And I agree with you on that pet peeve, because I don't like that either, where we just
Yes,
kind of just say things.
yes.
um Interesting, very interesting to me. Now, I know for myself and for yourself that our faith in Christ is definitely one of the ways that keeps us from
Hmm.
slipping into a place that can be a little bit dark. And, do you feel that for other folks who may be viewing this, different people are different places in their faith walk. Um,
Hmm.
do you feel, or what do you feel as far as other things that people can do to help them during this holiday time, that will not allow them to slip into that place? Excuse me. For instance, do people matter? Your associations, does that matter? What we look at, what we read, who we're around,
Absolutely.
what we're
Mhm.
listening to. How does all
Absolutely.
of that affect us potentially from having more holiday blues, or not maybe having holiday blues?
It affects it a great deal, and namely, you start dealing with people, they'll pull that out of you, and I remember this, and they'll come with all these different doomsday kind of expressions, and actually evoking those emotions.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I learned there's even some family members that you have to be able to set boundaries with
Wow.
during this time, especially if there's some loss, because to have a loss is to live,
Wow.
and it's a part of living. So we have to be able to accept certain things, and you can't make someone else sit in a corner and just feel like the world has ended because of a loss.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes and we need to have our friend come say, girl, let's go with me to the mall, or let's go to the church, and let's just go pray. Let's go do something, get them
Mm-hmm.
out of that environment.
Mm.
So, and like you said, the songs you hear, I remember that song. No, it needs to be something uplifting, something that can speak to your spirit, man. Because
Yes.
already your flesh, you're already feeling depressed, and you're already grieving. Well, who's gonna pull us out of that besides Jesus?
Right.
If we're
Right.
talking about our faith, you
Yes.
know, and we are allowed to grieve. I don't want anyone to mistake me with that, because you may cry, but I'm gonna cry at that church doing something about it, you know,
Right.
or I may cry in the car on my way to the mall,
Right.
talking about my loved one, or remember reminiscing over certain things and having some good joy, doing some activities that can um, cause the person to remember the person they lost during this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It's so many different things you can do. I
Yeah.
can name a whole list of them. I'm just trying to be a little succinct and not go too long. But yeah.
Yeah, those are good because, not only have people lost loved ones and they're pretty kind of just down about that because of the holidays or whatever, but then some people are just lonely. They're by themselves. They don't
Absolutely.
have family members, or maybe their family is, across country now and they can't travel this year because of the
Yeah.
pandemic and they're not able to embrace them. Maybe they have, you know, a mom or a dad who's older and they want to protect them. So they're away. I've heard where some kids are even afraid to come home from college because
Yeah.
they don't want to, cause any harm to their family
The
members.
parents.
So,
Hmm.
what do people do, like, to just stay encouraged? What are some other things that people can do to just not slip into something?
Um, this is the Zoom calls.
Okay.
Zoom, your IMs, iPhone got this new thing they got going on too. I can't remember what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah, but Zoom meetings, YouTubing, it's all kinds of things you can do to stay connected. Even do games with each other
Okay.
over the internet. Yes, it's this thing called Kahoot. And so you can have all kinds of games. It can be something in relation to the season. It can be if it's about someone that you lost and you want to have a way to incorporate them in, you can do a game about that. It's so much that can be done.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. I have to check that out. The games on that we can do about, incorporating the holidays. That's pretty cool. Um,
Hmm.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that we put too much emphasis on the holiday season on the external, as far as, like the gift buying, the
Yes.
pressure of this and that, and then it makes other people feel like, well, I can't really do that. So, I'm depressed because I can't buy this stuff, or I don't have this stuff, or I don't have anyone. Of course, we know the true meaning for the season is Jesus Christ. We know
Right.
that, but then, there's also the commercial part of the holiday season that is just there. It just is what it is. But the
Hmm.
emphasis on and the pressure of having to do or having to get, how do you think that factors into a person's psyche, mental faculties at this time?
I think it plays a major role. And when you think of holiday blues, that's one of the biggest things, because people
Wow.
are thinking about, I can't afford this, and I'm doing it because I'm being pressured, or you're gonna buy me a gift, so I gotta buy you a gift, or you bought my 5 kids a gift, and I gotta buy your 3 kids a gift, and I really don't have it. But then you find yourself trying to do things, and then you're getting sad because you know that bill is coming.
Right.
That bill's gonna come. You can rest assured it's a wonderful time of the year right now
Mm,
as you celebrate. And we pray God for that every day. But when bills start coming in and you have not been um, disciplined in your doing,
come on.
there's going to be a day of reckoning that you have to come up with.
Yes.
And they know that. So I think that is something I was looking at, that people start ruminating over the logistics. I got to cook this. I got to do this.
Wow.
The house got to look a certain way,
Mm,
and even my attire and
wow.
everything is for it. everything is to be seen, when
Come
in
on.
fact Christmas should be felt.
Wow. Say that again, please.
Many people are looking to be seen, but Christmas is intended to be felt. The felt
Wow.
love of God that He
Mm.
did what He did for us.
Whew.
So we're taking that and we have commercialized it, and it was never intended for that. So
Yes.
then what we are faking and phoning about for a minute, it's like you almost waiting for somebody. I don't know if you ever imagine, but you walk into somebody's coming to clonk you. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
get you because it's
Yeah.
coming. You feel it's coming. So I think that's it. So the ruminating over having to buy gifts and always just feeling complexed.
Yeah. Or what about comparing?
Oh,
Because again, the whole social media deal, we
yes,
have to go there too,
gotta show.
because it's just there, it's here, and everyone's flashing. And
Uh-huh.
everyone can do what they want to do. This is like no shade or anything,
Yeah.
but everybody's kind of flashing their things. And I've gotten this, or this and that, and it's fine and it's beautiful and we celebrate that. But for
Yes.
those who don't have anything, what does that do? What does that do to the psyche of a person?
Absolutely. And it reinforces low self-esteem. It
Mm-hmm.
reinforces not having enough. It
Mm-hmm.
reinforces I'm not worthy in their
Wow.
mind. And we know that's not the truth of the
Sure.
matter, but that's
Sure.
what's being reinforced because you got to look at it from the place that person is in, not the place where you are.
Mm.
So if everybody around me is doing all these things I can't, what do you think the average person is going to think? What do you think their children's going to think? What's wrong with
Right.
us? We can't afford it. You know this whole thing about Santa Claus, in which we do not believe in,
Right.
because
Right.
it sends a message. Well, I'm not good enough for Santa Claus to bring me anything. Well,
Wow.
Mama, and they got all these gifts, and then I'm sitting here. We have nothing.
Mm.
The child really
Wow.
knowing the truth, what's going on, and really, really explaining to them what's going on because um, it has far lasting result. I mean, yeah, result consequences on people,
Wow.
especially children, because they don't know how to decipher. They don't understand that it's really the parents doing it, and they can't do it. Not that they don't want to do it; they cannot do it.
Wow, you brought up an interesting point. So it's not even just the parents or the adults who are dealing with the so-called holiday blues, because they can't do certain things for their children, but it's also the children as well who are
Yeah.
in the middle of all of this, and they're struggling with this whole comparison thing that their friends got the
Yes.
latest and the greatest, and they didn't get what they got, and we've so stressed things
Mm-hmm.
for
Yeah.
this time of year, instead of, like you said, stressing being together and the love of Christ, and all of that stuff. So you can almost feel the weight and the pressure that society has put on us and commercialized, as far as the whole holiday season, from every actual commercial on television to
Mm-hmm.
billboards. It's just everywhere. We're just inundated with all of this stuff, and it really just it can almost I can see how it puts a damper on
Yes.
folks' holidays, right? So that's really,
Yeah.
really, and I didn't think about it from the aspect of children, which is really, really powerful to think about. So
Yes.
Dana, I think I tend to think, of course, with our faith, and I keep going back to our faith because I believe it is it is who we are. um
Mm-hmm.
I think we tend to think that, along with our faith, of course, that giving back, having hope and having purpose, um, being engaged, I think a lot of that may help us even with our thoughts during this time. So, what are your
Absolutely.
thoughts on, giving back, having purpose, so that we're not sucked into to all of this stuff with the
Yes.
holiday blues? What do you feel about giving back and about purpose?
I completely support it. I believe that that's where our answer is. Imagine if every one of us this year, our sole thing was giving back to community. It wasn't about us getting anything. You know, in fact, I was sharing with my sister about this. It was really my intentions not to do anything. I wanted to just give a charitable amount of money to an organization and let it be done, because at some point we got to break this, and if we don't break it, it's
Yes.
going to continue.
Wow.
So I really, really support the whole piece of community and just being there for what things are really for. You got people who are on food right now. We're in the
Yeah.
middle of a pandemic. Everyone don't have money. Thankfully,
Yes.
we've not felt that, but somebody
Yeah.
is feeling, and we got to have the care and the love of God enough to recognize that. I dare we go buy $200 tennis shoes, and somebody next door can't even eat, and we feel
Wow.
that. And again, people can do what they want to do, and you can do that
Hmm.
in addition to. But I'm saying,
Right.
where is our purpose at in this? Is it really
Right.
in the shoes and the trees and all these things that these lights and
Right.
God knows whatever else, is it really in that? Or do we want
Yeah.
to impact someone's life? Do we
Mm.
want to take a moment to just encourage someone to show them and that you are going to be the evidence of God in the earth because you're there for them?
Yes. So, so powerful. Very,
I just
very.
think that,
Yes. I'm
yes,
sorry.
but we're living in a time now in our society where everything is me, 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 me. I
Mm.
mean, lovers of ourselves, but yet we'll say that we're not, but it doesn't really matter. You can kind of see, and
Yeah.
we can't see everything people do for others. I get, but you can hear it in your talk.
Yeah.
You just recognize, and some things you discern. And I feel like if we're growing as we say we are growing and as God intended, we should feel the plight of others.
Mm.
That's the one thing about God that we should always glory in having. And if we don't, we should not forget it. To be able to feel, you know,
Yeah.
nice things and everything that we have, and we're just not mindful as we need to be. We got to be intentional. And that's my word. I know I shared that before with you and the ladies there, but everything we do, what is the purpose behind this?
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, why are we buying all these gifts and our children get things year round?
That's a good question.
Yeah, why? And and also asking them how they know about Jesus and the sacrifice.
Yeah. You know,
Should they know?
it's almost like we're trying to sort of, I don't know, it's like we're trying to sort of cap a high almost, you know? We do this, that's
Mm-hmm.
not enough. We do
Mm-hmm.
something else, that's not enough. And we keep going and going, and we don't have contentment. I think the bottom line
Yep.
is God, and the scripture even talks about that
Mm-hmm.
godliness with contentment is great gain. But
Great
we're
game.
like never can great gain. We're
Right.
we're never content. And I
Yes.
think not having contentment, not just having an inner peace, can sometimes be a struggle during
Mm-hmm.
this time because our focus is so off.
Absolutely.
And then it
Absolutely.
allows all of these other feelings and emotions to to be magnified in our lives,
Mm-hmm.
and granted, people are hurting for real reasons,
Yeah.
like you said, because of loss and hurt and pain and things like that. But then there are other times when we're just like, we're spoiled. We're
That's it.
spoiled,
That is it. We
and
are.
it's like, God, we have so much. We have so much to be grateful for. Let's not slip into this place of being sad because of what we think we were entitled to have. And we're
Yes.
already blessed.
Exactly. Exactly. And to add to that, I was thinking, I think it was today or even yesterday, I was thinking about some people are triggered during this time too for things they
Mm.
didn't get.
Whoa.
Yes, they're triggered. I remember when my friend got that bicycle and I didn't get it. And there goes the ball of tears. And I really, really, the embarrassment, the shame, or all these things that they're still feeling. So even now, those emotions start showing up. Remember, trauma, it don't
Yeah.
stop until it's dealt with properly. It keeps showing itself and when opportunities present itself.
Whoa.
Yeah. You would think, okay, you're now 45 years old, so you should kind of know. Some people they're still upset about that, upset with their siblings who got something they felt was greater than what they received.
Mm.
And it comes up in family conversations. And I mean, we could talk about this all day long. It can just keep going from
Unbelievable.
one thing to the next thing, from one thing.
Whoa.
Mhm.
And that, gosh, wow, that's really deep. But how do we grow? How do we go and grow from that? Because we don't want cycles. We don't want to repeat this. We don't want every holiday season to be struggling and to go through these same feelings and
Absolutely.
emotions. I don't want to cry on Christmas every year. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I'm just saying this for whomever.
Right.
How do we go and grow to the next place where we're now maturing,
Hmm.
and we're now at peace and we're content?
We have to address it. We have to address it, and not just, I just told my family how I felt. No, there's work to be done. If you are still carrying it, somewhere along the line you were traumatized about not getting something, or feeling like you were robbed of something of their nature, and you have to process those feelings and those emotions and get things rightly divided. And
Yeah.
even, let's say, for instance, maybe that did happen, you can do what you need to do for yourself through Christ now.
Yes.
Allow him to go back and be that person you need to be in your life, and thank
Hmm.
God that you can do it now, because of the hope of glory resting on the inside of you. There's this
Yes.
whole new thing that we talk about, reparenting yourself.
Wow. Talk to me about that.
So the idea is things that, when parents did not know how to parent and left you scarred and marred, you go back and you clean the work up yourself through therapy.
Wow.
You go to work to that spot, you build yourself back up, and you keep going. You're just addressing things basically, but it's called reparenting. Yes.
Wow.
For what
Wow.
your parent couldn't do for you, and sometimes not because they wouldn't do it, they didn't have the tools to do it. Not only financially, but just developmentally, they didn't know, or even
Mm.
the knowing of it all cognitively. They just didn't have it. They gave you what they had.
Hmm.
And you have to be able to stop that and not let that happen with your child and say, well, you got more than I got. Let me tell you about. No.
It sounds like a typical response.
Yes. And they have to understand it. They can see, but not to beat them down and berate them, then make them feel bad for getting it. And my mommy didn't get it. So these things are
Yeah,
hopping from each other, depending upon
sure.
the stability of people. And that's a large part of it also. The mental
Wow.
stability. Yeah,
Wow. So are we ever too old? Is it ever too late to do that?
absolutely not. No, ma'am. It's never too late. Never
Whoa.
too. You can go back and you can take back your peace. We preach that
Mm.
all the time, but it's the work to do, even therapeutically. You can go back and get your peace.
Woo. That's so good. That is so good. We can go back and get our peace. We can
Yes,
do it. And for everybody who's viewing, who's watching this, we can do that. We have the
yes,
power through Christ, of course, to do it, but we have to also do the work, which
absolutely.
which I think is a hard part, because I think even being in Christ and being a believer, I think sometimes we want to put it all on God and we don't want to do our part either. We want to
Absolutely.
sort of sulk in some of these things. We want to feel sorry for ourselves sometimes. We want
Hmm.
the empathy or whatever. And I think even sometimes we want the attention.
Yeah.
I mean, quite honestly speaking, I mean, I don't want to go too deep, but I really think that I
Well,
just
yeah.
think that, and I'm not a professional in that area, I don't know, but I just think that sometimes we just downright want the attention as well.
Well, absolutely. And especially for people that have personality disorders, all that comes out. When you start
Mm.
seeking attention like that, you got to start looking why they keep doing this. It's something deeper there. And,
Wow.
you know, um, it's things we don't want to say, but it there's evidence.
Okay, so I want to ask you something. I don't want to interrupt. I didn't mean to interrupt you,
Oh no,
but I
you're
just
fine.
thought about this. Do you think that, and I know we're talking about the holiday blues. Um, do you think though that sometimes people will use the excuse that I've had such and such to happen to me, or I have this or that. That's
Mhm.
why I'm this way. Instead of really getting the help or the work, but they continue to say that they have this stuff without and making an excuse, but not
Mhm.
really growing or going anywhere from that.
Absolutely, I absolutely do. I say if they continue to do it, that's definitely a sign that something's going on with them. But if you know this is going on and people are offering you avenues to get it addressed and you don't, at that point you can say you're choosing to be in this space because
Mm,
you still have others to talk to that can help you work through this. You
wow.
know, yet you're rejecting it.
So it could be for attention, or it could be just, we're comfortable, or
It could be.
we sort of want, maybe we don't get, we're not able to be recognized in other facets. So I know that I'm going to be recognized during this time of year because everybody knows that,
Mhm.
mama's gone this time of year. So now everybody's going to give me you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Wow.
it's absolutely true. But to me, it's still a sign that something's going on with you because a rational person just don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if it is just for attention, and like I said, that falls into personality kinds of things. Um, but it's something that could be addressed and need to be addressed.
Wow. Interesting, interesting. So Dana,
Hmm.
are there any other things that you'd like to share, or anything else that you can think of that can
Hmm.
help those who are going to be viewing this as far as this time of year, and how they can grow, and how they can be empowered, and how they can, as you say, get their peace?
Yes, get your piece. Exactly. The first thing I would share with them is to get them a budget if they haven't already done
Wow.
it, because I mean, I know we're so close, but get yourself a budget. Outline what you have, know what you're going to get. Don't just go in there because you see a sale and buy things,
Come on.
because we do that. Oh, but it's only $25 and it really was $75, but it's not in the
Woo.
budget, and it's just going to push me back for my next month budget if I do this.
Mm,
So you
mm-hmm,
want to be
mm-hmm.
able to have that. You want to manage your expectations, because we
Wow.
just go too far out. you know if it's to be had, we want to get it.
Yep.
And that's just not the attitude to have. You want to be able to establish peace with your family members. During this time, a lot goes on amongst families, and it's not nice.
Mm,
Being able to squash some things, and if something's going on, ask, can we just get through Christmas today? Maybe
wow.
suspend it, and I'll give you time to really, really go before God, calm down, and then address it. Because we address things in the moment, and it's a big old blow up. It's Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. If that person does not allow you to do that, excuse yourself. Don't sit there and you see where this is going. Take control. You have the authority to take care of yourself.
Wow.
God has given it to you in that way. So be able to excuse yourself and just make sure you're planning ahead, and just not doing things on the drop of a dime.
Mm,
No, think about what you're doing. Be
yes.
intentional. Be the
Yes.
peace for somebody who's not in peace.
Wow.
Use this time for that. Love on them. Let them feel the love of God because you are a part of their life. We want to be
Wow.
the evidence that God is real.
Yes. Absolutely.
We want to be the evidence of that. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is to be able to affect change in the lives of people. You know, if we're a representation of Him, there should be something different because we've been in their presence.
Wow.
You know, and I'm not saying go and conjure anything. It's who you are. If it's
Yes.
not who you are, you're not going to be able to do it. But it doesn't mean you can't try.
Yes.
Let this be the year that you won't be bound and you will not be sad and that you will not be lonely. Whatever it is, pick up your phone, call someone you hadn't called in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Find an elderly person that child can't come see them. You may not be able to go in the house. Go sit outside. You're not doing anything
Yes.
anyway. Sit outside and talk to them.
Yes.
Go run some errands for them. Give, 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 give. That's what we want to do. This time of giving. And that's why I
Yes.
say it's the most wonderful time of the year.
That's right.
Yeah. So again, giving don't have to always be some nice perfume you purchase for them. No, your smile and being there and sitting with me and
Absolutely.
let me really give you what I'm going through. That
Mm.
may help them. Because once you can release it for a moment, you can breathe,
Yes.
you know? Allow them to let those tears flow and you not condemn them and try to make them less saved than they are. Because you can't do it anyways.
That's right.
But allow them that time to just release so they can be happy.
Yeah.
And you can just be there, not always having words, but being present. Being present.
Mm.
And I think that when we start building our friendships, our marriages, all of our relationships on that, and that's something I love about our relationship. It's never been
Yeah.
tit for tat kind of thing.
Right.
It's never been that way. And that's why I love you so much. We have to find
Yeah.
people in our life that add to us and that we don't have to always think something gonna go down. Or I'm even
Right.
looking for something to go down. I'm looking for you to say something sly.
Wow.
Really? No. No.
Mm, mm,
Stay in
mm.
peace. Stay in peace.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh my
And
goodness.
and another thing I want to say is it's a good time to start listing good things that God has done in your life. I'm a list
Mm.
girl too.
Yeah.
So list all these things. It'll make you happy. Do your
Yes.
gratitude journal.
Love it.
Thank you. Get you a gratitude journal. Like, man, I may not have had this, but I had this, 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 and this. And God did
Yeah.
all, I'm still alive as long as I
Yes.
am breathing.
Come
Somebody
on.
said the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. But what I believe today, the best part of waking up is to be in the presence of the Lord and to have
Yeah.
another day to not only be impacted, but to
Right.
impact someone else
Oh
for
my
the
goodness.
glory of
Yes.
God. For the glory
Yes.
of God. Yes, yes.
Oh my gosh. Those are so powerful. Those were like amazing tips, amazing words of
Mm-hmm.
encouragement, of impartation, whatever you want to call it. It was just phenomenal. And
Yeah.
I really, really, really believe someone needs that. I needed it. I believe that whoever's going to be watching this, they're going to be encouraged. They're going to uh, really think and
Yes.
just really sit and think about what it is that's important and that we are overcomers. We are
Yes.
overcomers through him that
Yes.
loved us. Are there any other resources that you want to throw out to our folks who are going to be watching that are available to keep people encouraged? Like I said, sometimes people don't know where to quite go to. Some people are not connected to churches or
Mm-hmm.
ministries. Some
Mm-hmm.
people haven't even accepted Christ yet. We don't know who's going to be watching this on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube. But what are some resources that can sort of launch people or propel people forward?
So for depression, anxiety, and all those things, you should be able to go to your local health department and get pamphlets on those things. That
Okay.
should be there. Another thing you can do is you can always Google. They have support groups. Many ministry have support groups also that you can just have someone to talk with. And if we find that it's an actual therapeutic need, you can always refer them for counseling,
Okay.
professional counseling that can be helpful and that can be navigated through someone else that can go help research someone in the area. Always
Okay.
feel free to go to psychologytoday.com
Okay.
and put your area code in there, and it'd be a list of therapists that will come up,
Okay.
and you'll be able to see all of their specialties. And my face will be on there also. But
Yay!
yes, so there's so many people there, and with their expertise, whether it's in anxiety and depression, or if it's dealing with personality disorders, or just need someone to talk to that you can confide in.
Yeah.
Just be
Yeah.
able, if you feel like you can't talk to somebody else because of your own, not because of other people, but because of your own feelings and emotions, talk to a therapist. I promise you it won't go anywhere else.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
I am thankful. This was really, really amazing. I'm thankful again. I love you because I just love the dualism that you have, of course, loving God, but then also the professional side that you have. And
Mhm.
I think we have to have that dualism
Yeah,
um, in this time, especially in the
absolutely.
body of Christ. We need that. I think that many people are going to be encouraged.
Mhm.
Are there any specific social media platforms where folks can follow you that you desire? I know sometimes folks want to get in touch with folks who are actually on some of these lives or on these broadcasts. So,
Yes.
what can you drop to our folks as far as platforms?
Well, actually, I only have my personal ones. I have not really delved out for my professional side because I already have so much. Um,
Yes.
so I'm trying to set limits and work my way into that.
Okay.
But unfortunately, I don't have that right now.
Absolutely. And I totally understand because you are super busy,
Yes, yes,
super busy, and your plate is definitely overfull. It's running over. But this
yes.
has been so, so great. I can't wait until we do some other things. I believe that you're always just such an inspiration. You're always educational for folks. And you've helped me tonight as well, as always. And I just love our friendship. I love what you mean to the body of Christ. I love what you mean to the world. And I'm just so thankful for you sharing your time as always. And for everybody watching, I know that you have been inspired today. And make sure that you please leave your comments in the comment section and subscribe to YouTube. So I want you to view it, but I also want to know what your feedback is on these episodes. So we appreciate you watching, and we thank you once again for sharing in your life with Yolanda. Until next time, we'll see you again. Bye bye.